The morning sun streamed through the glass walls of an upscale city cafe, casting golden reflections across polished marble floors, when powerful CEO Elena Mercer stepped inside expecting nothing more than another awkward blind date arranged by her overenthusiastic assistant. Her life had always been ruled by precision, profit margins, and carefully guarded emotions. But the moment she spotted the small child sitting beside her date, clutching a tiny sketchbook and staring at her with trembling excitement, Elena felt something shift deep inside her chest. The air seemed to freeze around her when the little girl suddenly stood, her bright eyes filling with tears of recognition, as if she had been waiting her entire life for this exact moment. If you believe in kindness, unexpected second chances, and the magic of human connection, take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Life Spark Stories to keep these heartfelt journeys alive. Elena had built Mercer Innovations from a struggling startup into a global technology powerhouse. Her days were filled with boardroom battles, investor negotiations, and late-night strategic planning sessions. Behind her polished reputation, however, lived a quiet loneliness she refused to acknowledge. Years ago, she had made a painful decision to place her newborn daughter for adoption after losing her partner in a tragic accident and facing overwhelming financial collapse. She had buried that memory beneath layers of professional success, convincing herself it was the only choice that could have saved her child from hardship. Across the table sat Rowan Blake, a humble but determined single father who worked as a pediatric physical therapist. Rowan had raised his daughter Myra alone after adopting her as an infant through a special care program for children who needed long-term rehabilitation support. Myra had been born with developmental mobility challenges, and doctors had warned that her journey would be difficult. Rowan had dedicated his life to helping children like her find strength, patience, and confidence, pouring every ounce of love into raising Myra with optimism and resilience. The cafe buzzed with normal daytime chatter as waiters delivered coffee and pastries, but Myra's attention never left Elena. The child clutched her sketchbook tightly, her fingers trembling slightly. Inside were dozens of crayon drawings she had made over the years, all featuring a tall woman with long chestnut hair and kind, determined eyes. Myra had grown up hearing the adoption story in gentle, age-appropriate fragments, always wondering about the woman who had brought her into the world before trusting another family to raise her. Elena tried to maintain her composed executive demeanor while exchanging polite conversation with Rowan, but her eyes kept drifting toward Myra. Something about the child's familiar facial expressions and delicate gestures stirred long-buried emotions. When Myra carefully approached and held up her sketchbook, Elena noticed the resemblance in the drawings to her own reflection in the cafe's glass walls. The realization hit her like a sudden storm, overwhelming her carefully controlled emotions. The child's innocent declaration, spoken with unwavering certainty, echoed through Elena's mind and cracked open memories she had spent years trying to silence. Rowan, confused by the sudden emotional shift, began sharing Myra's adoption background, explaining how he had promised to always honor the bravery of the woman who made an impossible sacrifice for her child's future. As he spoke, Elena's heart pounded louder with each detail that aligned perfectly with her own hidden past. The once impenetrable CEO found her hands trembling as guilt, longing, and hope collided within her. The bright daytime sunlight outside seemed symbolic of a truth she could no longer keep buried in shadows. The conversation gradually shifted from businesslike politeness to emotional vulnerability. Rowan revealed how Myra had spent years drawing images of a woman she believed still loved her somewhere in the world. He described Myra's courage during painful therapy sessions and her unwavering belief that families could grow in unexpected ways. Elena listened, her carefully constructed emotional walls crumbling with every word. She realized that her decision years ago had not erased her connection, but had transformed it into something quietly enduring and profoundly meaningful. As the afternoon sunlight softened, the three of them walked outside into a nearby park filled with laughing children and blooming spring flowers. Myra showed Elena her determination by carefully balancing on a therapy beam Rowan carried for her practice. Watching the little girl's perseverance mirrored her own journey through corporate adversity, Elena felt an overwhelming sense of clarity. For the first time, success felt incomplete without emotional healing. She began to understand that love and sacrifice were not signs of weakness, but powerful forces that shaped lives in unseen ways. Rowan, witnessing Elena's sincerity and vulnerability, recognized that life sometimes offered rare moments of reconnection that defied logic. He saw not just a powerful CEO, but a woman confronting her deepest regrets with courage. As Myra laughed joyfully under the warm daylight sky, Elena felt something she had denied herself for years, a chance at redemption, not by rewriting the past, but by embracing the fragile beauty of the present. Before we reach the ending, we have a special request. Comment the word hope if you believe that destiny sometimes brings people back together in the most unexpected ways. In the weeks that followed, Elena carefully stepped into Myra's life, not as someone reclaiming a lost role, but as someone earning trust through patience and love. She supported Rowan's therapy center expansion, helped Myra pursue advanced rehabilitation programs, and slowly allowed herself to experience motherhood in a new, unexpected form. Their lives blended not through dramatic declarations, but through quiet mornings, shared laughter, and growing emotional bonds under bright daytime skies. If this story touched your heart and reminded you that love can survive even the hardest choices, please like, share, and engage with this video to help spread these meaningful stories to others who may need hope today.